Hi everyone, let's work on 7.4 writing equations from graphs today. So let's start with the first question over here. We have a graph and want to write the equation for this graph. If you don't see this sign, this little circles, that means your function is in radian. If you see the little circles, that's in degrees. So this one is in degrees and this one is in radian. Okay, so let's start. Generally, we're following this general form of the sinusoidal function, which is y equal to c plus a sine or cosine of b theta minus d. So this is the general form of the sinusoidal function, and we're going to follow this general form to create our own functions. First, I will look for the c value, which is the horizontal midline of the function, the sinusoidal axis. And as you see, it's at -2. So this means the c value here is -2. Then we can find the amplitude of the function, find the highest point, and then find the distance between the highest to the midpoint. So let's see what is this point. It looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're moving from the sinusoidal axis, we're moving 5 up. So the amplitude is 5. Then we need to find the b value. To find the b value, first we need to know the period of the function. How do we find the period from the graph? You need to find the distance between two repeating points. What is that? That means you need to find distance between two high points, like let's say these two, this distance, or the distance between two low points, or distance between two midpoints, but not the ones that are coming one after each other exactly. So you need to consider this one and this one. So you need to basically skip the middle one, because this point is a midpoint that is going up, but this one is a midpoint that is going down after that. So this is not repeating point of the first one, but this one is going up after this point, so they are repeating each other. These two are not repeating each other. So you could find either of these three distances for the period of the function. Look for the easiest one. This one looks very easy because it starts from 5 and ends at 25. So that means the period of the function is 25 minus 5. 25 minus -5, because the first point is at -5. That's 25 plus 5, which is 30. So period of the function is 30. What is the b value? This is not the b value, it is just the period of the function. To find the b value, take the period of the parent function, which is in radian, that's 2 pi, and divide that by this period, which is 30. The 2 divided by 2 is 1, 30 divided by 2 is 15, so pi over 15 is the b value of the function. And next you need to find the d value. D is the starting point of the function. That means the horizontal shift. That depends on what function you want to write. So let's start from these values first. So the function is going to look like y equal to c, which is -2, plus amplitude, which is 5. And now I decide if I want to write sine or cosine function. Let's start with a cosine function. We know that a cosine function starts from a high point, because this is how a parent cosine function looks like. Starts with a high point. So this high point is my first point. I consider that as first point, which is starting at -5. That means the function is moved left 5. So I write cosine, and then I need to write the b value, which is pi over 15. And then theta Because this is moved left 5, so I need to write plus 5. Because you know, if you move left, you write plus. If you move right, you write minus. So this is the equation of the function. What if you wanted to write a sine function for this graph? Then you could write y equal to -2 plus 5. Everything is the same, and the p-value is also the same. Here I write sine function, but then the start point is going to be different. What is the start point here? You know that any sine function starts from a midpoint. This is the parent sine function, so you need to look for a midpoint. We could consider this point, or you could consider this one, a midpoint that is going up. So let's consider this one. Since this midpoint is between a low point and a high point, so it's exactly in the middle of them. What is the middle between 25 and 10? So you're going to do 25 plus 10 divided by 2. That's 35 divided by 2. And let's see what is 35 divided by, which is equal to 17.5. So the start point is at 17.5. Since it's on the right side, the function has been moved to right, so I write minus 17.5. Okay, now let's look at a function which has degrees this time. We're going to work on, let me choose which one I like to do here. Okay, let's work on question number 11 together. Again, we're going to start with the sinusoidal function, which is the c value, and that's at -3. So the c value is at -3. That means the function is moved down 3. And then the amplitude. The highest point is at 2. So from -3 to 2, we have moved 5 up. That means the amplitude, or a value, is 5. Then we need to find the period of the function. You can find the distance between two high points, or two low points, or two midpoints. These two. Look, whichever is easier, look at that. This one looks easy. From 10 to 130 is 120. So the period of the function is 120, and the b value is the period of the parent function, which is 360, divided by this 120, which is 3. So the b value is 3. And then we need to find the d value, which depends on what function you want to write, sine or cosine. So let's start. Y is equal to c, which is -3, plus a, that's 5. Now, do I want to write sine or cosine? Let's write a cosine first. So I write cosine, and then b value is 3 theta. If I want to write a cosine, I need to start from a high point. It could be this one or even this one. So I can write -10, which is moved 10 to the right. Or I could write -130. Either of them are right. So this is if you want to write a cosine function. How about the sine? You can write -3 plus 5 sine. Then you need to write a midpoint, start with a midpoint. A midpoint that starts, that goes up after that middle point. So this should be your point. You cannot start with this one. If you want to do this one, that's a sine function which is going down. That means reflected over x-axis, so it should be negative function. This one is going up, it's positive, because a normal parent sine function looks like this. From the midpoint goes up. Okay, so I start from this one, which is at 100. So I can write theta minus 100. If you want to write a negative sign function, you could write y minus 3 minus 5 sine of 3. Now, you're going to look for a midpoint that is going down, and that's this one, starts from 40. So I can write theta minus 40. So this is how you write the equation for your graph.